Hey everyone, I've had several requests for more cooking videos, and since I'm in the middle of cooking some breakfast egg cups, I thought I would kind of take you along on the process and show you as much as I can to show you how we do the keto breakfast egg cups for my husband and myself and for the girls for breakfast. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is not an exact recipe. This is not something like you can actually find written out anywhere that I know of. This is just how we usually do them. First thing I'm going to do is take a dozen eggs. I'm going to put just the egg whites in here, whip them up until they're stiff. Then I'm going to fold in the egg yolks and everything else that's going in them, and then I'm going to put them in the muffin pans. But I need both hands to do the separating the eggs, so I'll separate them and then I'll show them to you in just a second. Well, for some reason that process took forever, but I got the egg yolks separated, or the egg yolks separated from the egg whites. Now I'm just going to mix these together. Egg whites are all whipped. I didn't do them until they were stiff. I'm just doing them until they're whipped up. The egg yolks are mixed in here. I took about 2 handfuls of chopped spinach. That's honestly, it depends on how much spinach you want. I put 2 handfuls in here. I also put in some seasoned salt, Italian seasoning, and some black pepper. I'm going to mix them all together. I also add in 1 dash of heavy whipping cream. It's somewhere between 1 to 2 tablespoons. It's just enough to get it to mix together and adds a little bit more thickness. Once it's all blended together, I put it into the pan. This is our larger pan. It holds 6 muffin size, like breakfast muffin size ones. We also have a 12-inch one that we just kind of rotate between. Next thing I'm going to do is take these, and I take about 5 to 7 per cup, because Matt likes a little extra meat in his morning. So I just drop these in here. Also, the reason paper towels here is if you pat them dry with the paper towel before you do it, because they come in bags pre-done up, they will sink 100% all the way to the bottom if you don't dry them first. So the patting them dry is to keep them from sinking like completely all the way to the bottom whenever you're making them. Last thing we do is top it with cheese. Our crew really likes cheese, so I'm kind of generous with the cheese on these. And I'm going to top all 6 of these with cheese, and then I'm going to pop it into a preheated 350 oven for 25 minutes. So I wanted to talk real quick about the differences between just mixing all the eggs together, not doing the egg whites separate, and doing them separate. So this batch was made with the eggs and eggs white mixed together at the same time, and as you can slowly watch with this back one right here, they are collapsing. If you want to go ahead and just mix them all together and you don't care if they collapse or not, then go ahead and do it. We sometimes do it just because it's faster. I wanted to do it to show you what happens. You can see this one's like completely collapsed in the middle, but they don't really hold up. They're a lot denser whenever you bite into them. They freeze really well either way, but this is what happens if you do mix the egg yolk and the egg whites together. And here is the batch where we beat the egg whites separately. Now our goal is that these don't collapse, except as you can see, this one is actually collapsing, and so is this one. So the reason why these are collapsing, even though the egg whites were beaten separate, is because when you're using a Ninja, it doesn't really whisk it like it should be, it just beats it a lot. So that's why these are still collapsing. So now I'm going to show you method number 3 to try. As you can see, the egg whites are all in this bowl, and then the yolks are in the Ninja. This is my favorite way though, because now I can add the heavy whipping cream. I ran out of spinach, so we're going to do broccoli with this batch, and then add my seasonings, the seasoned salt, the pepper, and the Italian seasoning. I can add it all in here and get it whipped up and ready to go to add to the egg whites as soon as they're whipped up, ready to go. And I do it on low, you know, just enough to get it mixed in real good, and it seems to do the trick. So let's get this started. I have 2 different tools that could get this job done. I have a hand mixer, but I also have an immersion blender that I want to play with and see how it works. You know, the first time I ever used this thing, I ended up splattering it everywhere. So let's see how it goes in 3, 2, 1. The only downside to using the immersion blender versus using a hand mixer is that the immersion blender has to rest after 1 minute of consecutive use. So let's give it a rest and then see what happens. Here's what it looks like after 2 minutes. It says after soft white peaks start to form, usually is what your consistency you're going with. It does look very whipped. I may do it for 1 more minute and see if those stiff peaks start to form, but I've got to let it cool down for another minute before I can use it again. And we'll see what happens. Looks to me like some stiff white peaks and at least double its size, so let's try adding it to the rest of the batter and see what happens. One of my favorite things about the Ninja that Matt bought me for my birthday is that I can sit here, I can set this aside, I can take this blade out completely, and I can fold in the egg whites to here because I have more room in here than in there, and I won't kill any of those beautiful bubbles that I just made in my egg whites. So let's fold it into here, pop it in the oven for, let's see, this pan's ready to be emptied out and traded out. So we'll put this one in. The smaller pan with the 12 we put in for 22. The bigger pan we always do for 25. So we'll see how it goes. And there they are. It's a little bit fuller than what I meant for it to be, but I think it'll still be okay. It'll be okay. I'm gonna wipe this off a little bit, pop it in the oven, 350, 22 minutes, and we'll see how they do. Well, as you can see, these also collapsed as well. This is what one of them looks like, torn off of it. And I'm not 100% sure on this. It may have just been the way that I mixed the whipped egg whites in with everything else that may have done it. I don't know. I'm gonna springboard some ideas off some friends who do amazing with eggs and right off of them. But for now, I think it's taste test time. We're going to do a taste test from the egg cups yesterday. You see all 3 of them here? Mm-hmm. We're going to divide each of them into 3 pieces and see which one you like. We're going to start with this one, then this one, and then this one, okay?
Okay.
Okay, start with these 3. Everybody gets one. So, what do you think? Flavor's good? Let's do the next one. Just cut it into 3 pieces. Is it different? Different how?
Very different taste and much more broccoli. Broccoli.
Well, that's the only one with broccoli, so that part will taste different. Let's try the last one.
I like this one better than the rest.
Which one was your favorite?
Last one. The broccoli one. The broccoli one.
The last one was the second batch that I made. I whipped the egg whites in the Ninja, mixed the rest of it in a bowl, and then added them all together. And the goal with all of them was to get fluffy egg muffin to look like, you know, like a muffin, like when it has flour in it. But none of them did that, but we still tried 3 different ways. The first one you tried was whipping the egg whites with the immersion blender and then folding in the rest of the ingredients. That was the broccoli one. No, that was the second one you tried. The first one you tried was where we just whipped everything in the immersion blender and blended up the spinach with everything, poured it in the cups, then added the cheese and ham pieces. So you like the immersion blender one better, and you like the ones where the egg whites were still whipped separately.
She likes the same one as Sarah.
No, you two like the egg whites whipped, and you like the one where the egg whites are whipped in the immersion blender. But you like it better when the egg whites are whipped separately then. But were they all good?
They were so good.
Close me out.
Thank you for watching.